Hey, everybody, it's Sean Peck from Cage, Death Dealer, and Denner Sherman. I want to wish Metal Messiah Radio a happy 10-year anniversary. I can't believe it's been 10 years already. Thanks for all the support. Me and everybody that I play with really appreciates what you do for metal. It's very, very important, and may it go on another 1,000 years. Ow!
Hey everybody, it is Sean Peck from the band Cage. Yes, I am back. I am here on Metal Messiah Radio, the Metal Meltdown. And let me just tell you, it's always a time that I look forward to in the process of publicizing one of our releases when I get to talk to Dave Softees. Dave, you're the best, man. Thanks for having us. And to all you people listening out there, turn it up!
Alrighty, Metal Maniacs, welcome to the Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio's 10-year anniversary special. Tonight we get with a staple of the Metal Meltdown and Metal Messiah Radio. This gentleman was the second interview ever done by Metal Messiah Radio since Metal Messiah Radio's inception. And that being said, please welcome back the people's poet, hailing from San Diego, California, Mr. Sean Peck.
The people's poet. I love it when you call me a poet, man. My brilliant lyrics are highly underappreciated, except for you.
Well, I remember our first interview. I did call you my favorite poet, and that was at the end of Metal Messiah Radio's first year, and you had gotten with lovely Laura for Metal Messiah Radio's second ever interview. The first one was Gus G of Firewind. So we here are doing a special to celebrate our 10-year anniversary, and I couldn't think of anyone more special to do that with than the one guy that I have done several interviews with throughout the year. So, Brother Sean, I want to thank you for taking part of this special. And how are you doing out there?
Here in sunny San Diego, I just got back from snowboarding for a couple days and watching some football playoff action, and going to probably go in and work on the third Death Dealer album that we're probably 80% done with. So I got the house all to myself. I got 2 big screen TVs going, and now I'm talking to you. So, man, it's, life is good.
You watching football?
Yeah, watching football. So, even though my Chargers didn't make it, but I'm just watching all these teams. Like, we could have beat these teams.
At least you had somewhat of a winning team there. Both New York teams really sucked this year, especially.
Yeah, the Chargers, were 2-0 in the New York Stadium this year, by the way. They beat the Jets and the Giants, just for the record.
Yeah, I know, right?
They had more home wins in that state. They had more wins in that stadium this year than the Giants did. How about that for a stat?
Unbelievable. Hey, by the way, do you still have that that Mr. Softy Nerf football that looks like the colors of the Chargers? That when I met you, I think it was 2010 in Ronkonkoma, I think I gave you some. Mr.
Yeah, I got it's somewhere in here. I do have that still.
What memories we have! But anyway, as I mentioned, historically, you were one of the first artists ever to be interviewed on Metal Messiah Radio. Even though you were number 2, once I joined Metal Messiah Radio, you have been a steady guest on the Metal Meltdown more times than any other guest I've ever had. So that being said, you are number 1 in Metal Meltdown appearances.
I might not be the top 10 on the charts, but I'm number 1 in their hearts. Yeah. How about that quote?
Right. And and as we know, it all started with Cage. And as the years went by, we see you start a couple other bands, being Death Dealer, which you just mentioned, and Denner Sherman. For me, it's been an honor to have gotten with you for all the interviews, for all the support for all your bands, as well as having the privilege to see you perform a couple of times in my neck of the woods. So for me, it's been a really nice experience, and I consider you a brother. And what we would like to talk about tonight is, how has your experience been with Metal Messiah Radio over the past 10 years?
Well, it's been great. I mean, always supporting, the new releases that we have. And now that, I'm in all these different bands, the releases become more and more frequent. I mean, what 2016 was, we had the month of Pecktober where I released, um, I think it was the Cage, the Death Dealer, and the Denner Sherman. I released 3 albums in 1 month. I don't know who else, what other artists have done that, but
Yeah.
and so Metal Messiah was always there, supporting, playing the music, in-depth interviews. Every time I do an interview with you, you're one of the best interviewers because you know your material and the questions are really well thought out and keep it interesting. And I love doing the interviews and I love doing all the press. That's part of the fun. But sometimes, it's the same question, and you've always been good at digging deep and, asking the questions that artists hope that they get asked, but no one, really gets into the meat of the stuff like you do. And it's been great, man. I mean, I know it's a labor of love, like a lot of the music that we put out is, and so I appreciate what it takes to stay focused on it, to stay enthusiastic about it, and everybody at Metal Messiah has done a great job, and the thing's really grown. So it's my go-to internet radio show station.
I appreciate your words. And let me tell you, I think you've been a guest for at least 8 times. And coming up with new and different questions, it gets harder each time, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I always got something interesting going on though, man. I got to be one of the easier ones to think about stuff. I mean, we've, especially now that, like I said, we started with Cage, and then the whole Death Dealer thing came together, and then I joined the Denner Sherman guys, and now there's a whole bunch of new stuff coming, in the future. So you'll have plenty of stuff for fresh material.
Oh, I'm sure about that. One thing about you is you've never been a lack of a conversation. You always are a great communicator. You always are a great interview. And yes, being that you're in Death Dealer and Dennis Sherman as well, does make it easier for me to come up with different questions for you. But what would you like to tell your fans out there who have supported you throughout all these years of your career? Is there anything that you would like to say to them?
Well, I love talking about myself. That's one of my favorite things to do. So that's for starters. But the fans, man, it's been really cool, especially, the development. Cage has been over 25 years, so it was before the social media era. But the development of social media, you just get to like instant feedback on stuff. So it's been great. We'll throw out little videos of me, doing some kind of scream trick or something, or a little clip of practice, and the fans, are always in there jumping in and rooting us on, and then just the global reach. I mean, I got like guys that I've never met in person that I'm super tight with online from like Egypt and Syria and all these wild corners of the globe that you would never ever run into in a million years without the social media thing. So the fan interaction is this next to performing is the most fun, and then interacting with the fans is the second. And mostly because in the metal genre, man, it's an overall like way more cool people than the other genres of music. You know how it is, like metal people, they don't, if someone walks in and they're wearing a freaking like Judas Priest shirt, you don't see race, gender, sexual orientation, you don't see anything. You just throw them the horns and you're like, yeah, man, we're brothers. And that's one of the great things about metal is just it embraces everybody as part of the united culture of metalheads. And so it's the fans are super loyal, and then when we start putting out product, the pre-order stuff, and the people that's paying more money for all the bonus crap that we put out. And yeah, it's been great. And there's there's a lot of good stuff coming, and you always look for playing a new song to the people and just having their freaking face light up and the hair stand on up on their arm, and you're just like, yeah, man, that's how I felt when I put this song together. And you feel that way too, like, yeah, you want a bro hug everybody. So
Right.
the fans are an integral part of what what keeps us, going after all these years is the feeling we get from the mutual reaction of playing it and then, getting the feedback from the people. So without the fans, without the feedback from the people, it would just be, we might as well just sit in our room and frickin', record songs and just play them over our computer speakers. So the fans are a crucial element.
Right, right. I definitely agree with you. And I have to tell you, since our first interview back, it's 10 years ago, I guess, we've seen Cage within the lineup changes. We've seen changes throughout the years. But I last saw you back in 2016 here in my neck of the woods, as I mentioned. And during that year, you did release music with Death Dealer and Denner Sherman. And getting to see you live and see your performance, I mean, I was blown away because I had seen you a few years earlier, and that place was a joke because they fucked up your mic situation and whatever, that kind of shit happens. But I couldn't believe my ears to know that you're so busy in that year, 2016, with all your bands, that you had this energy to kick ass, and your lineup at the time, hopefully it's still the same lineup, that blew me away. It was such a great show that night.
Yeah, we got the same lineup. Casey Trask on guitar, Sean Elge drums, Alex Picard on the bass, and then the original Cage guy, Dave Conan Garcia.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is like the best lineup we've ever had, and the thing, and we're a great unit. We spend a lot of time on the road together too. Everyone's friends. It's not easy to like find. I've been in it a long time, man. I would go through like band members. There's always like someone's always got a flaw. Like they'll look good, sound good, have all the gear, but is a like drug addict or something. It's hard to find like the perfect guys. And like for the most part, everybody in the band's perfect. Great attitude. They look great on stage. They play great. They write great. And it's when we go on the road, it's all just like it's usually it's just a laugh a minute. We're just all cracking jokes, and it's makes it really fun. Even when the last tour we did was 30 days in 19 countries, and it was just grueling, man. There wasn't 5 minutes to frickin' rest.
Wow.
And even through all that, like no one, there were no arguments, and no one, threw a bitch fit or anything. So which is a miracle. So I love the lineup, and then performing, everyone's running around like crazy, and the songs, we got such a great, 7 albums of just great songs to choose from. So it's been the Cage is, going stronger than ever. It's been fantastic. We're playing with Hammerfall here in a couple of weeks, and then we're doing a show with Ripper Owens a couple of weeks after that, and then we'll probably be heading off to Europe in May. So a lot of stuff on the horizon for us.
Yes, I've seen your Facebook video doing the Scream Machine, singing that Ripper tune. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm really happy for you that Cage has a very stable lineup, and it's a very impressive lineup. And if you've never seen Cage live before, you need to see them in the current day and age. So definitely when Cage does go out there, you got to see this band perform. They'll blow you away. And speaking of Cage, Death Dealer and Dennis Sherman, do you have any updates on any new offerings? You mentioned Death Dealer before, that you're working on new music. How about with Dennis Sherman and with Cage? Do you have new music that you're either writing for or working on music for, or are you writing any more novels?
The Death Dealer is going to come out, before the end of the year 2018. We could probably have enough to release a full album now, but we just wrote like another like 5 that we're trying to kind of pick through, and we have like I think 8 of them are completely finished, and we just need another few just to really round it out. So that's Death Dealer is coming along really good.
Nice.
As far as writing another novel, I don't know if you know the story, but I wrote another story called Seven Skulls. It's like a short story. It's like 100 pages. It's a killer, another kind of horror story thing. And I even had the artwork made for the book that I was going to put out. And the Death Dealer album, Hollowed Ground, at the last minute, we needed a new album cover because the label rejected the one we gave them. This has never happened to me before.
Wow.
And literally, it's like, we need to have it today. And so I had to give up my Seven Skulls book cover, which became the Hollowed Ground album cover. And then to make it even more complicated, we did a song on the Denner Sherman EP called Seven Skulls, which was kind of told that story a little bit from the book. So I have to edit it, but yeah, I might put that out because it's such a cool story. I might just put it out for free. But that's funny how it's it's a story I wrote. It's a Denner Sherman song and a Death Dealer album cover. So it's basically a mess.
Wow.
But
it's you.
Yeah, and then but it's me. And then as far as Cage goes, I hate it when people say like, "Oh, it's a secret and I can't say anything," but it's a secret and I can't say anything.
No worries. When the time
But
is
I can tell you offline. But on the public record, we've been working on this thing for about 5 years called Project One. That's all we're calling. That's the code name. But Project One has 12 completed songs, written, recorded, and I've sung everything on them. There's other elements that need to be added that are making this thing special, and so 4 of the 12 are like completely done. We were hoping for a second quarter 2018 release. That may still happen, but it might get pushed to a third quarter 2018 release. And when this thing hits, it's going to be big talk in the metal world. We'll definitely have to talk about it on Metal Messiah Radio. But just the music is just super kick ass. Normally when we do a new album, I'm always, not second guessing, but I'm always leery of, is it as good as the last album we did? I was just like that on Ancient Evil with Cage, and every Cage album we do, and this one is probably the first record I've been so confident on the songs that I'm just like, oh, I know this kicks ass, so I'm not even worried about it. So that's a good sign. So yeah, we've been working on this thing for years, and finally it's gonna come out in 2018. And then in Denner Sherman world, there's a lot going on. We've got a lot of live offers. We're trying to see if we're going to do some of those for 2018, but it looks like it won't be till 2019 until a new album comes out. I think, Hank Sherman has a bunch of projects he's working on. Michael Denner, I think, is doing another Trick Bag album. So I don't think we're going to start on the new record till 2019 for Denner Sherman. But I hope we get that rolling, because it was such a great time writing songs, with Hank and Michael, and we just kind of got started and just got the momentum. So Hank is an incredible riff machine, and it was great, doing songs with him. And then I don't know, maybe the Warrior guys will do something one of these days.
I remember from our very first conversation, and of course the Hell Destroyer album with the King Diamond tune, and having talked with you for years about your affection towards the King Diamond, that when you joined with Denner Sherman, this has got to be like one of your all-time stoked out moments. That unbelievable. So yeah, watching your career with Cage, of course, and then with doing with Death Dealer, and then Denner Sherman, and being able to communicate with you on the cell phone while I'm working. And I remember back in 2016, before our last interview, I had texted you just to say what's up, and you said, "Dude, I got so much stuff to talk about with you. Let's get and do another interview." I never knew, and you educated me. And yeah, it was great, our last interview. And I'm looking forward to our future interviews, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 separate interviews, because each band deserves a separate interview, really. And so I look forward to the future of supporting you and your bands. And I want to thank you so much, Brother Sean, for taking part in tonight's 10-year anniversary special on the Metal
10
Meltdown.
years.
Yeah, can you imagine? Time flies when you're having fun. But Cage is around 25 years. Wow. Unbelievable.
It's nuts. Yeah, I'm just happy. Every day is a gift, man. I'm happy I wake up on this side of the roses every day, and you see all, you see all these people, all these metal icons and people in the industry passing away like every other day. And you're just like, man, life is short. So you got to take it, you got to take life before life takes you.
Yeah, it's really weird how it happens in cycles. As a matter of fact, some years it happens just around before the new year, and this time it's happening just after the new year. The dropping of the flies already. So yeah, it's amazing how they die so young too. It's very sad, but what can we do about that? We remember the music, and when the music lives on. But if you believe in God and heaven, they're having a rock and roll party upstairs, right?
Yeah, we have a song on this Project One that kind of like talks about all this. It's pretty good.
Excellent.
Um, that really reflects on all of it. So, yeah, thanks for having me, man. Always good to hear from you. And Metal Messiah Radio, 10 years. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure, and I want you to take care and keep yourself strong with that voice. I mean, I was blown away, like I said, that time I got to see you the last time in 2016, with all that you were doing, all your recordings and your bands, that you still have this power and this energy, and your band is kick ass. So yeah, you'll have our continued support here on Metal Meltdown and Metal Messiah Radio. So you take care, and wish everyone in your circle a very great new year, and may you have a successful 2018. And just know I'll be here for you. So keep in touch with me, and we'll do what we need to do to support your bands.
All right. You're the best. Talk to you later.
Thank you very much, Sean. Take care.